A lot of guys have this idea that if you're a high value man, you're good looking, you've got the money, you've got the status, you've got options. A lot of guys think that when you're on that level that you get to call the shots. You're the prize. When you're a high value man, you can feel secure in your relationship. Because even if women are hypergamous and they're always looking to upgrade, well, if you're at the top, then there's no one better she can leave you for. It's impossible to upgrade. But fellas, listen, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you've achieved. Most women these days will eventually become open to leaving you, even if on paper it doesn't seem like she has any better options. But when you understand female psychology, it actually makes sense. I think it's extremely important for every man to understand these insights into female psychology I'm about to reveal. But first, let's look at some telling examples where a woman was unfaithful despite already being with a higher value man than the man she chose to cheat with. When you think about SMV, sexual market value, it's hard to imagine a man with a higher SMV than Tom Brady. He's a household name, one of the most decorated athletes of all time. He's won 7 Super Bowls. He's been named the NFL's most valuable player 3 times. And it goes without saying, he is obviously filthy rich. And on top of all that, he's also really good looking. I mean, he's pretty much the prototypical Chad. He's 6'4", strong jawline, full head of hair. I'm not one of these face analysis gurus, but he's obviously a very good looking guy, probably in the top 1% of men in terms of looks, if not better. So it should come as no surprise that Tom Brady ended up marrying one of the most famous supermodels of all time, Gisele Bündchen. I mean, it's basically like the star quarterback dating the popular cheerleader taken to the extreme. Well, I'm sure most of you already know the story, but after 13 years of marriage, Gisele filed for divorce. Then 1 month after their divorce was finalized, Gisele was openly vacationing with her new boyfriend, this guy, who also just so happened to be her jiu-jitsu instructor, who she had been taking lessons with for almost a year already at that point. Now, Gisele has denied the allegations that she cheated on Tom or that she left Tom because of the jiu-jitsu instructor, but I mean, let's be serious. It's obvious what happened. But why would she leave Tom Brady for this guy, who on paper seems to be a downgrade in every single way? He's not near as good looking as Tom Brady. He's not even within sniper rifle distance of Tom Brady's financial success. How does this make any sense at all? Hypergamy can't explain this. Let's look at another example. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. These two are probably best known as the stars of the Twilight series, but they also dated in real life for 4 years. I know some of y'all are too young to know what it was like back then, but as a guy that's old enough to remember, let me tell you, Robert Pattinson back then was like the #1 Hollywood male sex symbol. Every girl in my high school was gushing over him. He was rich, famous, attractive. Similar to the case with Tom Brady, Robert Pattinson's SMV was pretty much at the peak. But what do you think happened? If you guessed that his 22-year-old girlfriend, Kristen Stewart, cheated on him with the 41-year-old married director of a movie she was starring in, then you are correct. There's no speculation to be had about this one. The paparazzi got photos of Kristen and the director making out. They got caught red-handed. Now, obviously, this man was directing a Hollywood movie. His name is Rupert Sanders, by the way. I guess he's directed a few movies, but he's not exactly famous. But sure, yeah, he's a successful guy. He was her director, so, that probably made him more attractive to her. But still, this goes against everything red pill gurus want you to believe about hypergamy. No matter how you look at it, Robert Pattinson was by far the higher status man in this equation. No contest. So how do you explain these high-profile cases where women decided to cheat on some of the highest status, most attractive men on the planet? Well, let me introduce you to atrophy theory. Atrophy theory states that a woman's interest in a man declines the longer she's with the same man. So let's think about this. Any rational person can look at Tom Brady compared to this guy, and it's easy to see which one is more desirable to women. I mean, if you just show their pictures to 100 random women on the streets, and let's say you do this test in Europe or something, so the women don't recognize Tom Brady, but if you asked 100 random women to choose which man they'd rather go on a date with, I think literally every single one of them is going to choose Tom Brady. And that's just based on looks. Add in the fact that Tom Brady has like $300 million or something compared to this guy who, I don't know, I think he probably is rich. He owns a successful gym, but I don't think he's Tom Brady rich. So Gisele choosing to leave Tom Brady for, what even is this guy's name? I don't even know. Okay, Joaquin Valente. It just doesn't seem to follow the laws of nature. But let's apply atrophy theory to this equation. Gisele had been with Tom for something like 15 years when she started taking jiu-jitsu lessons with Joaquin, whatever, who cares? So that's 15 years with the same man. That's a lot of time, a lot of atrophy. So from her perspective, her superstar athlete husband's SMV had atrophied so much, in her perspective, the jiu-jitsu instructor was the one on top. I mean, also, he was literally on top of her, probably a lot. I don't know if y'all are familiar with jiu-jitsu, but this is what it looks like.
I follow him back up and gain chest-to-back connection, which is needed for the back. The mistake that Kieran makes is not staying tight with his left elbow.
Pretty freaking gay, right? But imagine if one of these guys was a woman. It would probably be this one, obviously, but, I don't know what I'm talking about. But seriously, I'm sure the fact that this guy was probably rolling around on the ground with Gisele as part of her lessons, that probably did a lot to make her more attracted to him. So I don't think relationship atrophy is the only explanation for what happened here, but I'm sure it contributed. Likewise with Kristen Stewart. She had been with Robert Pattinson for 4 years at the time she got caught cheating. So from her perspective, this Hollywood movie director probably had higher sexual market value than Edward. Now, you could argue that in both cases, these women are rich and famous themselves, so maybe they're not going to care as much about a man's wealth. I mean, in Gisele's case, I think she's actually wealthier than Tom Brady. But that's why I also made sure to use examples where the men have every piece of the puzzle: looks, money, and status. But there's something else that goes along with relationship atrophy that I think is also crucial to understand. As much as I talk about how looks are everything, good looks is the cheat code to attracting women, it's the most important thing, all that is true, but it's not really that simple. Looks are important for a reason. There's a chain of reasoning here that goes deeper than just being good-looking attracts women because women are attracted to good-looking men. The reason why being good-looking is the most important factor in attracting women is because women are attracted to that which gives them excitement. That is the root of the issue. When a woman sees a good-looking man, it excites her. Part of that is a natural physiological response, the sexual response. But there's also the excitement of knowing that being with that man will make her the envy of all her friends. And the excitement that comes from the assumption that a man that's really good looking probably has a lot of influence. He has power over other people just from his aura. So it's not just the visual of the looks in and of itself that causes women to be attracted. It's really all about the excitement. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not about to go on a red pill arc or anything like that. You might think, well, if it's just excitement that's at the root of attraction, then an unattractive man should be able to attract women just by riding motorcycles and acting crazy. And actually, that will work to some degree, but being good looking is still the most exciting thing. It's the thing that elicits an emotional response from women more than anything else. So looks is still number one. But here's the point I'm making. Part of the reason why atrophy theory is true, the way it works, when a woman has been with the same man for 10 years, there's very little mystery left. All the things about Tom Brady that used to make Gisele feel excited like she's a kid visiting Disney World for the first time, after knowing him for 10 to 15 years, there's no mystery left. There's no excitement. And here's the key word I want y'all to remember. Boredom. She is bored. Okay, women get bored being with the same man for too long. Now, the red pill will tell you, that's why you always got to be spitting game, even to your wife. But no amount of game is going to make up for that lack of excitement. Because a big part of why she gets bored is because the excitement was always tied to the man's looks. But she gets used to seeing the same man over and over again for years, so his masculine features don't excite her anymore. She gets used to it, and she gets bored. You can't fix that with good game. So that's why someone like Gisele or Kristen Stewart might feel like they need to do something crazy to stop being bored. So they let their jiu-jitsu instructor come into the bedroom for a special sparring session, or they let their 40-something-year-old director, who's married with 2 kids, boink her brains out in the backseat of his car because, it's exciting. What if his wife finds out? What if everyone finds out? The risk makes it exciting. By the way, I'm not trying to act like women are unique in experiencing relationship atrophy. Have y'all seen the woman that Schwarzenegger knocked up? Like, Jesus Christ, even I wouldn't stoop that low. Okay, I probably would, but, surprising for Schwarzenegger. Although, in that case, I think maybe that was just out of convenience. She was the housekeeper, so she was already there. Same thing with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. But yeah, you see all these stats like women initiate 70% of all divorces, and it's like, yeah, of course they do, because they get bored. And a big part of relationship atrophy, I forgot to mention, I do think men also get bored being with the same woman for so long, but most men don't have a lot of options. Every woman has a lot of options. So the relationship atrophy is just so much more dangerous when it's a woman, because women more readily have the ability to cheat or to swap for a different guy, which I think usually that's the goal, to leave the first guy for the next, not just to cheat on the sly. They're actually trying to switch to a different relationship, in most cases, I think. So then you might ask, well, what about Tom Brady? He would surely have just as much opportunity to cheat as Gisele, if not more opportunity. And that is true. But also, I think in general, men are less likely to cheat because men are more practical. We're just more pragmatic. Obviously, a lot of men do cheat. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It obviously does happen. But women can't resist the excitement. But men oftentimes can, because they don't want to let down their family. They don't want to let down their kids. They don't want all the drama involved. And they know they might get caught and the repercussions would be bad. Do you think Gisele was thinking about the possible repercussions the first time she was rolling with her jiu-jitsu instructor and she decided to rub herself against him in an extra special sort of way? No, she probably just got swept up in the excitement. I mean, they tell on themselves all the time. Whenever a woman gets caught cheating, they always resort to the old excuse about how they just got carried away. They couldn't help themselves. Obviously, part of that is just them trying to deflect their own agency in the situation, but it's also probably a little bit true. They actually can't resist the excitement. They let their emotions control them too much. Obviously, a lot of men let their emotions control them too, but speaking in generalities, I think it's safe to say women are more likely to let their emotions take the wheel. And women know they can cheat and they can monkey branch all they want, and then they can just lie about it, and most people will probably believe them. People tend to give women the benefit of the doubt. And if you want proof of that, you can do a Google search for "Did Gisele cheat?" and you can find articles and Reddit threads full of women just burying their heads in the sand, making excuses for her like, "I would bet every man she knew shot their shot when she and Tom split. It's sort of insane to just assume because she knew Joaquim when she was married, she must have cheated. More like she became single and spent time with this man and then he asked her out." Oh, please. Like she would have to be single a millisecond longer than she wanted to be. Women can't win. He chose football over her and the kids when he was supposed to retire. This played out very publicly. The fact that she had the courage to let go and move on, she's Gisele fucking Bundchen. Like, how naive can you be? Here's the facts, okay? Gisele is the one that filed for divorce. Then, after the divorce was finalized, only 1 month later, Gisele and the jiu-jitsu instructor were seen vacationing together. 1 month. Okay, I know rich people are probably quicker than most to take their new partner on vacation, but still, 1 month after the divorce was finalized. And we know that Gisele had been taking lessons with this guy for about a year before the divorce. If you can't put 2 and 2 together and see that obviously Gisele was cheating, then I don't know what to tell you. If a woman starts dating a man she's already known for a while, less than a month after she breaks up with her husband, then she was cheating. Obviously. It's called monkey branching. She had the new guy lined up before she initiated the divorce. That's how women like to do it. You got to make sure you don't end up spending a single millisecond being single. Could you imagine being single for 1 single nanosecond? Oh my God, the horror. Yeah, try 37 years, bitch. But Gisele probably doesn't actually believe deep down that she cheated. That's the thing. That's why it's so easy for her to deny it. They justify it to themselves like, well, he was always absent. All he cared about was his work. The relationship was already basically over by the time I let my jiu-jitsu instructor put me in full mount without any clothes on. I was like a prisoner in my own home. The relationship was basically already over. Even Kristen Stewart could have probably got most women on her side at least. Yeah, they had photographic evidence of the affair, but all she had to do was play the victim card and say, he was an older man, he was in a position of power over me, I didn't know what to do, I'm a victim. If she had played the victim card, she would have had most women and some percentage of men on her side. So, good for her for at least owning up to it after she got caught red-handed, but women can usually just kind of get away with it. It doesn't hurt their reputation that much when they cheat, even when it's obvious. So fellas, understand that they all get bored eventually. You need to internalize atrophy theory. Don't be naive in your relationship. They will naturally get less and less attracted to you over time, and they all get bored. There are women out there that are good people. Okay, I'm not saying literally every single woman on the planet is going to cheat or she's going to leave her man eventually out of boredom. There are good women out there. But even most of the good girls, women that on paper seem like they'd be one of the good ones, you can never really tell. There'll always be signs, but when you're in love with a woman, it's probably hard to notice the signs. So don't be surprised when a woman cheats. Never be surprised. And even if you do have one of those rare women that wouldn't cheat, that doesn't mean her feelings for you won't atrophy. She'll still get bored. She will still lose attraction. So best case scenario usually is you're going to end up in a dead bedroom situation, or she won't cheat, but she will break up with you. So just understand how these things go and mentally prepare yourself for the inevitable. If anything I said here resonates with you, please consider watching some of my other videos. There's also some secret videos you can watch for free on my Patreon, videos YouTube doesn't want you to see. No sign-up required, you can just watch the videos. But we've also got a private Discord and exclusive videos for paid Patreon supporters, so check that out if you're interested. Thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.